other things that follow from it, which mean it is really, really crucial for Cambridge, which is why I was going around talking to early years providers long before I was elected, and what I found was I was absolutely staggered by the complexity of both the provision and how it was funded. So I was just looking back, through some of the places I've been over the last few years, and since I've been elected, I've carried on being perplexed, frankly, by the funding mechanisms. I remember going to St Luke's, just around the corner, where you've got a preschool set up, so it's attached to a school but not part of the school. So you've got the Preschool Learning Alliance explaining to me that actually it is very complicated. How the funding comes through the county council is not entirely transparent and clear to anybody. So you've got that model. I then sort of walked 200 yards round to Sunflower Nursery, which is 100 yards from where we're sitting, which is run by Cambridge Housing Society, which is a different kind of model where it's effectively a private provider but with a very much a social purpose. I remember Nigel Howlett sitting there telling me over a year ago that they were losing £1 an hour on every session and that it could not go on like this. And I remember thinking at the time, well, this is an accident waiting to happen, frankly. This was before the government started putting its oar in trying to redistribute not enough funds around the country. I remember going to the fields probably pretty soon after it was set up, so I think in about 2006, 2007, as an early Sure Start centre, and I kept trying to visit Sure Start centres. The county council kept telling me I wasn't allowed to go because it was political, which I thought was extraordinary, because you want our politicians to understand what's going on and you won't let me in. And I have very, very vivid memories of the 2010 election campaign being at one of the centres and actually being thrown out because the county council got wind of the fact they'd let me in. So it's no wonder that people don't understand all this. I mean, I was, as a fairly well-informed public policy person, really struggling to understand. I was thinking, what must it be like for a parent trying to understand it, which thing do you go to, what do you get, what you're entitled to. But when I was going back on the doorstep to people was that this was something people really, really needed. So it clearly was really, really, really important. And the fields, obviously I've been there a lot in the last year. Ricky drew this to my attention with the national consultation about a year ago, and she could see then that the money that was effectively, the local authority is not going to be allowed to retain some of the resources to help fund the higher needs areas, was going to be a problem. So, and then of course it's become a national issue, and some of the all-party group meetings in Westminster one the other week, which was absolutely packed, hundreds and hundreds of people from across the country, it has begun to get national attention. And I think the government is struggling, frankly, to know how to respond. Obviously, change of government, essentially a few months ago, halfway through all this, for reasons we won't go into. A new Secretary of State, who was obviously surprised to be the new Secretary of State, new ministerial team, and I think they were all struggling. And one of the things they did concede under pressure, was the extra year to take it through. But that's not the answer, because that doesn't give any certainty. On top of that, the long-standing problems, when I came to see you the other week, you explained this to me from your perspective as a private sector provider, the difficulties, again, around recruitment, around the qualifications that are now needed, the fact it's so hard to get people, and that you too were seeing that effectively the numbers don't stack up at all. What happens? Now, we would all love, obviously, the 30-hour pledge. It was a nice election offer, but I'm afraid it wasn't funded. It's the truth of the matter. So basically, the Conservatives went into election, where you heard this before, and said you can have this, but we're not telling you where the money's coming from, and effectively passed the buck down to councils, who are now completely, of course, stuck in the middle. So we've got a real problem. I think the answer, well, I don't know what the answer is overall, but what I would say in terms of the campaigning work that's been done is it's really, really good. It has raised the issue very high up and sort of the awareness levels of politicians. This week I was able to actually deliver a petition in Parliament, the one that we've done and we talked about at the fields. It is partly about us getting publicity and keeping it on the agenda, but what it's actually going to require in the end is a recognition that if you want decent services, they're going to have to be paid for. And that's, whoever's in government is going to struggle with that. But I do not see how trying to redistribute money from one bit of the system to another is not in the end going to only perpetuate unfairness, possibly in a different way, in a different place, but it's not going to fund the kind of system that I think the public wants. I mean, I think there's actually a real appetite for decent early years provision, but we've just got to be honest about how much it would cost. And in the overall scheme of things, I mean, you compare it to, you know, how much sort of the Royal Bank of Scotland managed to consume. I know it's an easy thing to say, but I think as a society, we're just going to have to commit more to it. So I can't tell you what my party will be saying when we go into the general election. That's a few years away yet. What we've got to do with is deal with the current government, and I think they're under pressure. So just keep the pressure on, and I think they will have to give a bit more. But what we also have to do, I think, is try and some of us understand better the range of constraints that people are under, and things like the impact. You know, I'm all up for higher wages, but again, you've got to do it in a responsible way, and the impact of, you know, the so-called national living wage, apprenticeship levy, all these things which are putting extra costs onto providers. You've got to also give them resources to do the job.
Thanks, Dan. And thank you very much for